Okay, so we're starting on our hands and knees. We're going to do a glute kick back. So taking the left leg up towards the ceiling. Common problems are that we overextend into the lower back and not control into our trunk area, and also poke out into our chin like so. So what we want to try to do is control from the abs, keep the trunk as still as you can, keep your eyes looking down towards the mat, and lift here, squeezing into that left glute without losing control at the abs. So the leg doesn't have to lift high, just take it to where you can, getting a nice squeeze into the glute, but keeping the trunk nice and still and controlled. Okay, moving on to the plank or front support. Okay, we have our hands directly underneath the shoulders. We take the right leg back, followed by the left. Common problems that we see here, a lot of people overextending into our lower backs, collapsing into the shoulders, and again poking out into the chin. So we want to pull up from the abs, get your body in a nice straight line, lift from those shoulders, so trying not to collapse there, and then making sure that your neck is in line with the rest of the spine. Getting yourself in a beautiful straight line here, so that we're not overextending or hurting yourself into your lower back. Okay. Moving on to our stomachs. Oh. Okay, we're going into our basic back support. Palms are glued to the sides of your thighs here. What we find a lot, people lifting up into back extension, poking out the chin, and just allowing the shoulders to flop down, not engaging the shoulder blades. So what we want to try to do, tuck in that chin so that the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. Engage your shoulder blades, so we work those upper back muscles, and get that feeling of reaching your fingertips down towards the toes. So let's do it all together. Engage the shoulder blades, lift into your extension, reaching down towards the toes. Okay, moving on to our sides. We're going into our side leg lift. Okay, what we find a lot is people trying to lift the leg super high and collapsing into the trunk here. So this often looks like that, which is quite an uncontrolled movement and won't get much glute activation. So we're going to try to keep a slight gap between your waist and the mat. Control it there, and then as you lift the leg, making sure you're not closing that gap between your waist and the mat, so that we get a nice burn into that side of your glute here. The leg doesn't have to lift high. Think of more trying to lengthen that leg away from your body. Okay, going on to our backs, working into our pelvic curl, making sure that your feet are in line with your hips. A lot of people have the feet nice and wide so that we don't get much inner thigh activation or enough glute. So make sure those feet are close enough together. What we find is a lot of back extension as we lift. So overextending into the lower back, not connecting to our core, and therefore not getting much glute activation here. So what we want to try to do is go into a posterior pelvic tilt. So we tuck the tailbone so that your lower back presses into the mat. We squeeze into the glutes here, and then articulate your spine up. We lift high enough so that your body is in a nice straight line, but without overextending into the low back. So keep that tailbone tucked, squeeze into the glutes, so we get a nice connection to the abdominals, glutes, and hamstrings. And then articulating your spine down, one vertebra at a time. Let's just do one more here. We flatten the low back, tuck the tailbone, peel your spine up, squeezing into the glutes. Stopping here, not making sure you don't overextend, and then articulating your spine all the way down. Okay, and then we're just going to do some ab here. We lift the right leg up into tabletop, left leg up. Okay, reaching those arms up towards the ceiling. This one is called dead bug. What we often find is not enough trunk control or ab control. So as the arm and leg move together, a lot of movement happening in the trunk here, which won't give you much core activation and might actually hurt the lower back if you do have a history of back pain. So what we want to try to do is keep this trunk area as still as possible, drawing those abdominals in towards your spine. And as you extend the arm and leg, keep the trunk nice and still, not allowing that gap between your lower back and the mat to change much as you move the arm and leg. Keeping that control here as you extend the arm and leg, keeping that rib cage pulling downwards in towards the hip bones.